What's happening, Fresh Bake? Welcome back to the Knothole Gang. We're atop the Mickey and Friends parking structure for this week's update from Star Wars Land and Galaxy's Edge. And we're going to start this week by looking at this new area that's being developed in front of the Battle Escape building. This is obviously, some of that rock work that we're expecting. We just found this last week. We got a little bit of a better view this week. We slid down a little bit further to the right to see it. That's last week's view. So you can see there has been a little bit of progress there. And then we're going to zoom in a little bit more. I think I wanted to see if you could see anything through the steel, because last week we could a little bit, but no, everything is pretty much been obscured now by that new construction there. But let's compare this actually to the model. Last week we looked at this when we first noticed this area being developed, and we assumed that this is the area right here that we're talking about as far as where this rock work is going to be. I kind of want to refine that thought a little bit, I think. I feel like the lower area, this here is the lower area. I mean, it makes sense, right? The lower area of the steelwork that we're seeing in progress now. But that's a very tall building, and I don't think that this rock work here would reach those heights. So I'm going to assume that as they develop the steelwork in front of the Battlescape further, this is the area that we're going to see, get built out further. So there's going to be two layers, two heights of hanging rock work. And you can see what I mean. We'll stop it right here real quick. You can see what I mean, how there's kind of like, there's going to be two levels, I believe, or two heights in question. Now I moved back to see if I could get a wider look, but we're now obscured by trees, so there's not a lot to see here. There's no payoff today, but I feel like over time we might be able to at least get some decent before and after photos from this area. So we'll keep going back there to see how that looks in future weeks. We'll move over to the exterior queue where where they're building the underground tunnels, the underground queues. Well, it'll appear underground to us anyway, as I've said. Not a lot of progress here. Just the dirt is gaining more momentum, fewer things to see, so they are leveling that off. But one thing that I did want to note is this section right here. It looks like they're starting to do a little build out on the side of the queue with some steel work, and that is obviously getting ready for something. And this is from about 4 weeks ago, where there was no build out at all with that steel work. And then if we go back, I have a feeling that this is going to maybe extend across to connect with these other buildings to create more mountainside, more structure, more framework for additional mountainside. I noticed there was some walls being constructed, so I thought we'd take a peek inside the doorways here to see what we can see. You can see some studs being set up inside that queue, so walls are going up fairly soon, I think, in this section. And then we're going to get the same view of the Battle Escape proper, or not the same, but I mean, we're going to try to peek in the door here as well. And again, you can see that there's scaffolding being built inside, although we're not going to be able to see anything at all in terms of what's being built in there. But they're starting to do some interior build out. Let's take a look at the roof line of Battle Escape. Now, here's something I'm going to zoom in here, I think, in just a second. This is kind of, here we go. This is kind of a new development that we're going to be talking about in a number of different views. That's rock work being built on top of the roof of Battle Escape. And we should be able to identify that peak as we progress through this update. We should be able to identify that peak in the model. And then let's take a look at what's going on here. This is more of the sort of, it's starting to make sense here. Actually, I'm going to pause, because this is, for a while I couldn't understand what it was that they were trying to do here in terms of the rock work being developed behind the peaks. I couldn't do the math in my head, but now it's making more sense that this is just forced perspective. These are just additional ranges pushed back, additional peaks being pushed back behind Huey, Dewey, and Louie, or whatever peaks. It makes more sense knowing what we've seen now on top of Battle Escape. It's not all supposed to be one sort of cohesive looking thing. It's meant to be viewed from just the front angles, and then we'll get a close up of the peaks. And again, I don't expect to see much progress here. I have a feeling this area is going to kind of level off as other parts of the land of the project catch up. Now that is something right there, though. And again, we're going to look at that later. That is not mountain. That is not a peak. That is a building, and we're going to be able to see that again from the Mark Twain. So stay tuned for that, and then we'll be able to plot that as well on the model. But let's get back and look at the peaks. Yeah, this rock work is probably nearly finished. They're probably adding, again, I don't expect there to be much work done on that in the coming months. All right, let's start our left to right pan of the entire land, as we can see. And there again is that new structure being built. That's a building. We'll get to that later. And then here you can see as we approach, right, we're going to see that new rock work being developed here. We're gonna take a quick look at that. That is fascinating to see that being done here. We're going to see more of that, I think, in the future. More rock work being done on top of the Battle Escape building, because if you look at the model, you don't get we're not going to see the tops of any of those buildings, maybe, or at least not from the front. We might see it from the back, but not from the front. So we're going to see more of that, and here's even more still. And we'll head over to the Mark Twain on the Rivers of America to get some shots of the front side of the Battle Escape building. And we get some interesting finds here. First thing you can see, there's that peak that we were just looking at before that's being built on the roof of the Battle Escape building. Look at all that scaffolding and those stairs. Wow. My camera is distracted though, or I'm distracted, because there's something behind those trees, and we're going to get to that in a minute. But before we get into that, let's first plot that peak on the Galaxy's Edge model. We're going to use this peak right here as the reference point, and I believe that to be this peak right here on the model, which makes the rear peak being built on the roof of Battle Escape. I'm guessing it's this one right here, and that again gives you a sense of the scope of the building. It looks big. I mean, we go through this constantly. It looks big to the eye when we're on the site, and then you try to put that into what you see on the model, and that whole entire mountain is Battle Escape. All of that's all Battle Escape. But so there you go. That's the peak that's being built on top of the roof of Battle Escape. Now let's return to the Mark Twain, because this is the thing that I wanted to show you guys. It looks like some kind of corrugated metal, and I mean, am I crazy? What is that? Is that what I think it is? Is that the hangar, or not the hangar, the hull, the ship hull that's being built in front of the Battle Escape building, the one that we pointed out to last week, because it kind of fits, right? It fits in terms of everything that we see, the landmarks that we know. Let's go back. Okay, those are the two peaks that we just referenced being built there. If you look down to the left, there's that building. If we go back to the model, they do line up spatially. That exists. What we're seeing there does exist in the right place for it to be. Are they really that far along in building that structure? That's pretty neat. And you can see it does have sort of a downward grade to it as well. It's declining. It's not flat. It is definitely going lower. So I got to believe that they have built the skeleton, at least, the shell for that hall. Isn't that cool? That's cool, right? All right, moving along, I guess. I'm still fascinated. I almost don't want to keep going, but the boat did, so we have to. There are the peaks of the Millennium Falcon building, and we're going to again see, I think, that structure that is coming along in front of it behind those trees. Let's see if we can't push in a little bit with the camera. So that's part of the market right there. Actually, it's kind of like the beginning of the market as you approach from Battle Escape. There it is again. Now we're starting to head back to the dock, so we'll get our long view of Battle Escape again. And I think this is where we're going to identify some of those other rear peaks that we saw them building, when we're on the Mickey and Friends parking structure. There's two, maybe three. It's hard to say. That's another one. That's that. I'm not sure where that one is. Okay, so that's that. Okay, yeah, that's the one right there. That's from the back side of Battle Escape. And there's another angle from it. I think we got two different angles of that. And we're going to plot this on the model. And again, we're going to use the tall peak as a reference. The tallest peak there, and it's being bracketed by the middle-sized peak, which gives us, that's the tall peak, that's the middle-sized peak. So those are the peaks being built right here. Or that's the rear peak, the forced perspective peak being built right there. And we'll pan to the right, I think. I think we're going to slide right and pick up that other building. There it is. Oh, get back in there. That's the building that we saw from the back side of when we were at Mickey Friends parking structure. That is that on the model. Here's another look right there. Cool, right? Cool. This is so much fun, you guys. I love it. We're watching them build a whole new land. Awesome. All right, so the Mark Twain paused while we had to wait for the Columbia to leave the dock. So I thought I'd pick up a little aesthetic shot here. Enjoy this if you will. Otherwise, you can forward just a bit. All right, so the boat's moving again, so we'll get one last shot. We'll start to push in to look at the mountain range being constructed over on Battle Escape. Just kind of give you a long view of the land. Slide over it again. There's that circular building being built.
That's not a peak. I'm sorry. That's a building.
That's really cool. Wow, someday. All right. Guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this week's update. Stay tuned next week for more, of course, because we're going to be following this closely. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Fresh bacon stuff, guys. We've got lots more videos for you to see, so grab a churro and check out some of our other videos and have your mind blown by how much fun we're having. We truly are the best of Disney Bake Fresh Daily. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you next time. Fresh Baked!